Hi there. So in this video I wanted to talk about how do you pull these aspects back to self that I mentioned in the last video. And in my experience and my belief, it's by coming back to your body. These aspects of self are out of body because you're not in your container properly. So I love a good metaphor. So it's almost like one of those like coffee plungers. I feel like I made this, I said this metaphor before, but I'm gonna say it again. It's like when you put the coffee in and then you put the water in and then you have it up to the top. It's like that's the position that people are at. And because that sort of container part is up at the top, there's no space to hold these aspects of self. So it's like we need to pull that sort of plunger part down into body and clear out the sort of energy and the stuff that's pushed that up. Clear out all the energy that we've sort of taken on that's stopped us from being able to hold these aspects of self, and push down the coffee plunger. And in doing so, you pull these aspects that haven't been able to be embodied back to body. It's almost like I've used a cookie jar analogy with a friend of mine, and it's like people have become disembodied to the point that there is no cookie jar to hold the cookies. And it's like you need to ground the cookie jar again and have a cookie jar on the ground or on the table or whatever to then put the cookies in it. But when there is no container, or that container is clogged up with stuff, whether literally or whether energetically or unresolved emotion or whatever, when that's full, there's no space to hold these higher aspects of self. So these aspects of self are going to become stuck to the other. And the more that you come back to body and come back to presence and heal your past, essentially heal your trauma and process what wasn't processed, the more you do that, the more that you create the space to hold the rest of yourself with you. Or I feel like there's also aspects of self that have left because it was unsafe to stay in the body. I kind of remember that from my experience, but I also feel like that's true as well. It's like these more feminine aspects or more vulnerable aspects or softer aspects often leave both actually. I was going to say especially leave the feminine, but I think maybe leave both the feminine or the masculine. They become disembodied because it's not what's happening in the physical experience has not been safe to be those. I remember when I was really young, I felt like it wasn't safe to be in my feminine because of what that was attracting to me. So it's almost like these aspects have left my body because it wasn't safe to be in body. And we now need to come back in our present reality and embody these aspects again. And as we do that, it pulls them back from the other, in this sense, pulls them back from being in relationship with the masculine or being married to the masculine, because we are marrying those aspects again in self. And I also think this is the reason for the guard as well. These feminine aspects are the ones that hold the guard up, or the armor up, because in order to feel like you don't need to do that. They need to be in body. Like, your body is the guard, but not in the same way. Like, the body is like the boundary. So when these aspects are not being held in the body, there's like this sort of distorted guard that is put in place as protection, or as to make these aspects feel safe in their reality or around certain people or in certain environments. So in order to drop that guard, it's like there needs to be, first of all, space in the body for that aspect to come back to body, and then the aspect needs to be brought back into the body, and in that place it's like there's not the same need to guard yourself, because you're not affected by the external. It's like that is the boundary. So like what's going on around you, it's like you can sort of hold yourself in that without absorbing it or without being pulled into it or whatever, because you're holding your container, your cookie jar. These cookies are aspects of self, are being held within the cookie jar. But when these cookies are up in the air out of the cookie jar, or when the coffee plunger is like up to the top and there's no space in the glass container to hold the liquid, like, or to, you know what I mean, then these aspects are having to sort of create a guard to protect themselves. And that relates to the last message or the last video that I did, where it's like that's like the masculine's role in a way. It's like, and the guard needs to be dropped by bringing these aspects back to body, and then when you're in that embodied state, that then will pull in or magnetize to you the divine protector that you don't need to guard yourself to. But also, that's what I mean about still owning your own masculine essence, in terms of you need to, like, the feminine needs to own her body and needs to, like, not look to the masculine to make her feel safe. Do you know what I mean? It's like he will come in and make you feel safe when you feel safe in yourself. So yeah, I think that's all for this video. Yeah, I have a few more things to say today, so I shall record those in separate videos, and I'll speak to you soon.